right, so here we're picking up, and as we already discussed, we're talking about pop, which I don't know why I did like that, which is, problem oriented policing. And so to start this off, right, we are going to kind of like walk through a little bit, just like a cursory example of, like kind of like what we're talking about. And we'll get more into like nitty gritty stuff. So let's say, for example, that we have, a problem, right? And we'll say that this problem is, with our romantic partner. So we'll say partner issues, right? Maybe we're unhappy about, where it is, right? Maybe, we just don't feel right. So, but if we look at this, right, exactly, we don't really know like what it is, right? We have partner problems, right? It's not really like well defined. So what do we do in this situation then, right? We could probably ponder about it a little bit, right? So, on one path, we could say do nothing, right? And we just accept our fate. We're stuck in this relationship, and we have something wrong. Or we could do like a little instancy thing, right? We could out here on this path, break up, right? In some cases that may be desirable, or that's something that we do want to do, we do want to pursue. But maybe we like this person, right? And we otherwise think like they're otherwise a good fit. They're desirable in some way, whatever that is. So we could take this alternate path of trying to fix the problem, right? So how do we go about that in the first place, right? Well, the first problem is, right, is that, when you think about partner issues, right, there could be different things, right? But the thing is like that's a very ethereal, generic terms, right? Like if someone's like, oh man, we got problems going on. Like, okay, great, I understand that there's something wrong, but how can we further define this, right? So let's say we could do, a couple different things, right? So we could take out this new path, right? And we could say maybe the problem is with them, right? In that perhaps, maybe they're moody, or maybe they are reactive in some way. Or maybe, they don't listen to us, right? Right? So if we continued along this path, right, we know we have these problems, right? What could we do, right? We could, there are a couple of branches we could take. One would be, talking about it, seeing, maybe you say, hey, I've noticed you've been a bit moody lately. I think it's having an effect on our relationship. It makes me feel like this. I'd love to know more about what's going on with you. Is there anything going on? How can I support you? Maybe it's something like that, right? If they're reactive, maybe there's some problem that you don't know, right? Maybe something's happened at work, or something's going on with their family, or maybe something internally with them, right? Or if it's like, I don't feel, listened or heard or something like that, it makes you feel small. That could be, like one or two different things, right? Alternatively, right, if we have like a different problem, right? Maybe, this problem is with you. You are in fact the problem, right? And maybe it is too because you're moody, right? Or depressed, or there is some external factor. Or maybe you just don't feel supported, or some needs not being met, and so you're reacting. So need not met. That could be, regardless, this is just an example of like something, right? So again, you could maybe like talk and think like, okay, hey, this is what's going on with me, right? This is stuff that's in my head. I don't think XYZ is happening. I would like it to change to this, or this has happened with me right now. And, I want it to be different, right? Like those are all like good things, right? So talking is like one thing, right? But you decide that you're going to respond in a different way, right? So maybe, we think about this triangle delta change in behavior. So maybe that is true with the partner, right? Hey, I would like it if you listened to me while I did blah, blah, blah and responded in some way. Or, it could be something like that. Maybe it's also because it's a moody sort of depression really issue, right? You could take a different path, right? Maybe this is exercise and dieting, just getting a little bit more and, maybe better sleep, right? And both people could do this, right? Or something like that. Or, and maybe it's something that, can only be solved through, like talk therapy. So maybe a couples therapy, or maybe it's an individual kind of therapy. Who knows, right? It could be any one of these different things. So all of these are, various options, right? And the thing is that with each problem that you would identify, right, you are kind of assessing it. You're finding out like what is like the underpinnings of this. You're developing a response, to it, right? So we're going to make these specific changes in the relationship, right? And alternatively, right? If this is not working, if this is not going through, if any of these paths branch off, maybe, it's just time to break up in some way, right? There are irreconcilable differences, attempts have been made, but like whatever problem it is just like not going to be fixed. And you cut out that person, in your life, right? But at the extent of it, right, maybe you make all these changes, right? You do all this, right? There's also a continuous assessment process that's happening. And this assessment is, did talking work? Did therapy work? Did making changes in lifestyle and stuff work? Did, all the stuff, you're assessing what happened, and, did breaking up work? Did that, really fix, or maybe it was a contributing factor? The point being is that, with all this different assessment processes happening, you're taking stock of what has occurred, and you're changing it to suit and adapt your needs, right? So we'll kind of break this down like a little bit more and related to policing, but think about the process that we outlined here, how we described it, and how we might go about it, because this similar process is